The engagement party was held at the Whitmore estate, the kind of home that announces itself before you arrive. Iron gates, manicured hedges, a fountain that nobody asked for but everyone pretends to admire. It was a celebration of love, at least on the surface. Deeper down, for some people in that room, it was a celebration of arrival, of finally belonging to the right kind of family. Derek Salton belonged to that second group. He was 31, handsome in a rehearsed sort of way, and had spent most of his adult life learning how to be impressive in rooms that mattered. He worked in corporate finance, drove the right car, wore the right watch, and had recently gotten engaged to Claire Whitmore, daughter of General Paul Whitmore, retired United States Navy. Derek had never served a day in his life, and he wore that fact casually, the way people do when they've never needed to consider it. The party was full of old money and older stories. Retired officers, lifelong friends of the family, a few politicians. Derek moved through the room with the easy confidence of a man who believed charm was the same thing as character. He found Paul Whitmore standing near the fireplace, talking to no one, holding a glass of water. The general was 64, broad across the shoulders even now, with a face that had been weathered into something quieter and more permanent than mere age. He wore no uniform, no medals, just a dark blazer and a plain expression that gave nothing away. Derek approached the way he always approached powerful men, with a smile already loaded, a hand extended too early, and a joke already forming at the back of his throat. "Sir," he said warmly, "I have to ask. Claire tells me you were quite the legend back in the day. Special operations, classified missions, all of it." He paused for effect, letting his grin widen. "So what was it? What was the call sign? Please tell me it was something like Eagle or Ghost." He laughed at his own joke, the way men do when they expect everyone else to follow. Paul Whitmore looked at him. Just looked at him for a moment that stretched slightly longer than comfortable. Then he set his water glass down on the mantel very slowly and said 2 words: "Grave digger." The smile on Derek's face flickered. He wasn't sure if it was a joke. He laughed uncertainly, waiting for the punchline. There was none. Nearby, an older man, Colonel James Hatch, retired, heard the name and went still. He turned from his conversation and looked across the room at Paul Whitmore the way you look at a landmark you thought you'd never see again. His expression was not one of nostalgia. It was something closer to reverence. Derek, still working to hold the social moment together, pressed on. That's a great name." Very dramatic. He clapped Paul lightly on the shoulder. "I should get one too, right? Something impressive for the family." Paul looked at the hand on his shoulder. Derek removed it. "A call sign is earned," Paul said quietly. "Not given, and not joked about." The warmth had not left his voice entirely, but underneath it was something immovable, like bedrock discovered an inch below soft soil. Derek felt it and didn't know what to do with it. The following Monday, Derek's professional life began its quiet unraveling. It started with a phone call, a deal he had been brokering for 8 months. The kind that would have made his career suddenly collapsed. The counterpart on the other side, a man named Richard Chen, cited new concerns that had come to his attention over the weekend. Derek made calls, sent emails, asked questions. Nobody gave him clean answers. 2 weeks later, his firm received a compliance inquiry, anonymous, specific, and accurate in ways that made his supervisor look at him differently. A month after that, a promotion he had been silently promised was quietly given to someone else. Derek wasn't a bad man, but he had spent years building a reputation on surfaces, on the impression of competence, the appearance of integrity. And when someone who had spent 3 decades reading people, really reading them, in the dark, under pressure where mistakes cost lives, had looked at him that night by the fireplace, he had been read completely. Paul Whitmore had not made a single phone call in anger. He had simply, over the following weeks, told the truth to the people who asked him questions they were already planning to ask. That was all. The truth was enough. Claire ended the engagement quietly on a Tuesday over coffee. She didn't cite her father. She said only that she needed someone whose insides matched their outsides. Derek nodded like he understood, though it took him years to actually get there. The last thing he heard from that world was secondhand, a story someone told at a dinner party about Paul Whitmore, about a mission in the early 90s that nobody was supposed to know about why 12 men came home when 16 had gone out, and about the man who had carried the other 4 back to the extraction point alone, through 6 miles of hostile terrain, refusing to leave